You are Sint Maarten. You are Sint Maarten.
The URSM, the Unified Resilient Sint Maarten Movement, being a political movement, will be hosting a weekly radio program called You Are Sint Maarten, every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on the Radio Mix 94.7 FM. I myself, Dr. Messalina, the political leader of URSM, will be hosting this radio program in which current issues, actualities and general topics will be discussed with the people of Sint Maarten. So join us every Wednesday on Radio Mix 94.7 for our radio show You Are Sint Maarten.
You are Sint Maarten. You are Sint Maarten.
Dear people of Sint Maarten, good evening. Welcome to our radio program You Are Sint Maarten. As you know, the You Are Sint Maarten, if you look at the abbreviation of the sentence You Are Sint Maarten, it stands for URSM. And URSM, of course, stands also for the Unified Resilient Sint Maarten Movement. We, from the URSM, decided to bring to the people of Sint Maarten a weekly radio program called You Are Sint Maarten, in which we try to keep the people of Sint Maarten informed with the current issues of their community. I myself, Dr. Messalina, will be your host in this radio program. As you know, I'm the surgeon in Sint Maarten since 1999. And of course, there are a lot of challenges in this community, a lot of health challenges, but what is worrying me the most is, of course, nowadays the high amounts of car accidents and especially motorbike accidents on the roads of Sint Maarten. I'm very worried for the behavior of our motorbikers, and not only because they bring their own health in danger, but they bring also the traffic of others that are sharing traffic with them also in danger. And if we see the high amounts of injuries and serious injuries that are a consequence of the accidents that occur due to this irresponsible driving in traffic of those motorbikers, I do believe it's time for me to send a message to the motorbikers, for them to realize that they have only one life and they have to take good care of that, and also for them to control their behavior as responsible citizens of this country. For others also not to be endangered in traffic. That is one of the worries I have lately since I'm working in the Sint Maarten Medical Center. But that is just a sidetrack, because this morning when I woke up, I thought, I'm seeing so many motorbike accidents that I do believe I have to make use of this opportunity of this radio program, although we will not have it today about the behavior of those in traffic, but I still want to make use of this opportunity, ask the motorbikers to assume the responsibility in traffic. Since 10/10/2021, being the 10th of October of last year, I am the political leader of the Unified Resilient Sint Maarten Movement, the URSM, that of course will contest the upcoming parliamentary elections for country Sint Maarten. URSM was launched on the 10th of October 2021, and symbolically, as you know, the 10th of October is the Constitution Day of Sint Maarten, and symbolically we per se wanted to launch this party on Constitution Day, because we really find that the 10th of the 10th of country Sint Maarten is an important historical day that we have to continue paying attention to for the further development of this country. As you know, the URSM stands for putting the people and of course the country above self, and believes in educating and informing the people of Sint Maarten. We strongly believe that there should be a sound balance between economic growth and the welfare of the people of this society. We are presenting, as I said, a weekly program every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on Radio Mix 94.7, in which current topics, community developments and issues, and general matters concerning the people of Sint Maarten are discussed. In my introduction, I said that the URSM was founded on the 10th of October 2021, and the URSM is a party of inclusion. Every time again I get the opportunity to speak about the Unified Resilient Movement, that is a political party, I do believe that we have to speak about the pillar of inclusion. Although the fact that there are more than 120 different nationalities living peacefully together on this island, we do believe that, except the fact that this can be an example for the world, how so many different nationalities can live very peacefully next to each other, we do realize on the other side that it brings the country identity under pressure and it challenges the patriotism of the country. And we from the URSM believe that inclusion is one of the major tools that we have to promote a unified opinion and sentiment to create a uniform country identity. So we are exceptional in the world the way this community is built, and we have to realize that we have to be proud of that, but also every side has a other side, and in this case we realize that we have to work very hard to keep the society peacefully as it is, and make sure that everybody that is born here and is born to be here, to accommodate all of them, for them to have a prosperous life here in Sint Maarten. Because we're talking today about inclusion, I thought it would be great to invite a person from a totally different descendants. In this case, I decided today to invite Mr. Fabio Doralice, that is from Haitian descendant. Mr. Fabio, good evening and welcome to our radio program.
Good evening, Doctor. Thank you for having me on. I want to thank you once again for bringing me in and having me give my perspective of growing up Haitian, growing up with immigrant parents, and all the struggles we went through, all the challenges, etc.
Yes.
And I also want to thank your radio listeners for tuning in. So look forward to a very fruitful discussion.
Great. Fabio, as you said, you are from Haitian descendant. Your parents were born in Haiti, and then they migrated to Sint Maarten for a better life. They decided we are going to try to make it happen in life, and they migrated to Sint Maarten. And actually, your parents are born in Haiti, but you are born in Sint Maarten, right?
Yes.
Yes. You're born on the Dutch side or on the French side?
I was born on the French side, in Marigot.
Okay. But as a young child, you came over to the Dutch side?
Right after birth, I was shipped over to the Dutch side.
Oh, great. So actually, Fabio, you were grown up here in this community. You grew up here in this community. Okay. Fabio, as a child from a totally different culture, let's say the Haitian culture, you're all of a sudden in a community that is diverse. You have to go to school here. You meet with friends that are not Haitians. How have you experienced this as a young boy growing up in Sint Maarten?
Growing up, it was rather challenging. And for the simple fact that I can remind the general audience that not too long ago it was kind of unpopular to even say that you're Haitian because of all the discrimination, etc., that we faced. But also it was something pretty normal for me to be in a diverse culture, because I grew up around Spanish, around people from Jamaica, around people from Dominica. So I understand their culture. I understand the Caribbean culture. And that is one thing that makes Sint Maarten so unique. It opened up its doors for everyone to come. Everyone is welcome. Everyone was welcome. And everyone got an equal opportunity to earn an honest living, make something better of their lives and the lives of their kids. So it was very, very interesting. And I think that helped shape me into who I am today.
I think that too. Yeah. But Fabio, to tell you honest, when I look at you and I see you, I never think, oh, that is the Haitian Fabio Doralice. I just, oh, that's Fabio. It is what it is. But I think, and that being said, I think Sint Maarten has something great, that it desensitizes people to have the urge constantly to classify people in different categories, like, for example, race, color, nationality, religion. I do believe, and I'm very proud to be part of a community like Sint Maarten, while we can show the world that we can live peacefully next to each other.
I agree 100% because I've traveled around, and you really see the discrimination or the segregation at other islands, where you would be considered an outsider from the jump. But right here, I don't. Maybe because I've grown up here, I've grown accustomed to the ways, and we are, believe it or not, the friendly island.
Yes,
we
of
very
course.
much so are.
So Fabio, if I ask you, do you really? Let me ask you this way: do you have the feeling that constantly the community of Sint Maarten wants to attend you on the fact that you are from a Haitian descendants?
Attacked? No.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
No. I feel I'm actually embraced now.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Especially after the more the world becomes aware of the Haitian culture, the Haitian way of being, especially after they learn about the Haitian Revolution and how it pioneered the abolishment of slavery, the Haitian Revolution in 1904. You get a lot of people actually embracing that. And they're very appreciative of that. And when they taste the Haitian food, the fritai, I mean,
the culture, the music,
exactly. So I don't feel castaway. I actually feel a sense of inclusion now.
Yes, being an additional value to this colorful community, of course. Fabio, this particular moment, you went to school here. Where did you go to school in Sint Maarten?
As I grew up here, I did all my schooling on that side, from elementary Martin Luther King, junior elementary school, and then went on to Milton Peters.
Oh, you went to Milton Peters. What did you do there?
I did LTS.
Okay.
Completed that, and then I did a few courses at the university.
Oh, very nice.
And then right now I'm actually getting my bachelor's in communications.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're getting there.
You're working on your future. Very good, Fabio. At this particular moment, it should not be a propaganda, but you're working here at A&E Supplies in the finance department, the accountancy.
Yes,
very good. But before that, even you have had a period that you were working in an insurance company too.
Yes, right? And actually, most people know me from my background in insurance.
Yeah. Okay.
Right out of school, I did I think a year at the tax office, and Gulf Insurance was right next to the tax office.
Okay.
And I simply switched over, and I did it for about 10 years.
Okay.
I became over the motor department and the motor portfolio. I used to do claims adjusting, property adjusting. It was very fun for the almost 10 years it lasted, and
afterward, you make the jump to go to A&E Supplies.
Yes, but not right off the bat, because after 10 years of doing insurance, you get kind of complacent and kind of bored of doing the same thing over and over and over. So and at the time I was doing Gulf Insurance, most people know this, but I actually had a Latin bakery side by side, and people were like, "But how a Haitian kid owned a Latin bakery, more specifically a Colombian bakery.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole story on its own. But that's to show you the cultural appropriation that we have here on the island.
On the island,
And,
absolutely.
And it was a very fun experience.
Great. Fabio, next to that, if I recall, you are also a person very interested in politics in general. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a political history too, right?
Yes, I do.
Tell
Yes,
me a little about your experience.
I'm very much so ingrained in politics, and I can actually tell you the journey. Back in 2018, the 2018 elections, there was a young lady on a particular party, and she actually came and asked me to solicit my vote. And after a brief discussion, she said, "Hey, I need you on my team." I didn't think twice. No experience in politics.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I'm going to jump on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And after going out campaigning with her and seeing all the illnesses, the challenges that's out there, because remember, we're right after the hurricane.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she did not get elected. But on the campaign trail, there was a lot of people saying, "Hey, listen, join the arena. And I said, you know what? I think I will, because I think I can contribute a difference.
Yeah.
That's my nature,
Mm-hmm.
to help people out. But the intention was not to join in the very next election.
Yeah,
It was actually, I think the election was going to be 2022.
Yes.
And we had a snap election in 2020.
Yeah.
The intention was not to run in 2020. But God made his way, and in 2020 I was approached, and I decided, you know what, let me get my feet wet, let me get at least some experience.
Yeah.
And which I did. I joined a political party, and I ran my first parliamentary election in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And was not elected, but I learned a very valuable lesson.
And that is?
Always stay in touch with your people.
Of course.
Always stay in touch with your
And
people.
that is the problem that you see nowadays, Fabio, that there is a disconnect between
Yes.
government and the people outside there, that the people feel that the government is not realizing the situation that they are in, confronting the daily challenges and the problems of their daily life. And I do believe a good government is not a government that the whole day sits in the government building and shifts paper from one desk to the other, pushing dossiers from one desk to the other. But a good government is a government that is constantly, day and night, in touch with its people, that realizes what the challenges are of the people of the country, and to see what they can do to alleviate the issues, the challenges, the problems of the citizens of this country. And I have learned that too in politics, that I realize that there is a big disconnect between your perception of what is being done on government level and what the desires and wishes are of the people outside there. Mm-hmm. And the big lesson that we can learn is that a good government is a government that is constantly outside the government building on a daily basis, in contact with the people, and having a great dimension of transparency for everybody to understand and to see what the government is doing to take care of the business of the people. That's why, for example, now there are some stands from government towards the media, for example, that I think it's challenging the pillars of democracy, because I do believe that you as a government should be constantly transparent and accessible to the media, because the media is the window for you to get your information, your actions over to the people of the country. So you have to be very careful the way you treat the press, the media, because they are the messengers to guarantee transparency of what you are doing as a government for a country. Fabio, next, you are, as a matter of fact, at this particular moment, the vice president of the Haitian Association in Sint Maarten. Can you tell me a little about your function in the Haitian Association of Sint Maarten? Tell me a little about your function there. What do you do there? And where does this Haitian Association stand for?
Okay. Backpedaling a bit to elections 2020, after I was not elected, and I realized that my populace basically gave me a little scolding, and a few of them came and told me, Fabio, we like you, we know you, but you did not come and ask us for your vote.
Yep.
And a few of them actually came up and said, we see you around, you are connected to us, but not connected to us. So I took a few months and I started to reflect, and I said, no, they are 100% correct. Let me get closer with the Haitian community. And one way to get closer to the Haitian community is through the Haitian Association. And in 2020, that same election year, there was elections for the Haitian Association Board.
Okay.
And what we decided to do, me and along with all the other 5 Haitian candidates, decided to contest that election. And unfortunately, the other 4 candidates that took part in the parliamentary election, they decided, listen, I'm going to set it out because there's too much confusion in the Haitian community, and I'm the only one that says, you know what, confusion don't really scare me. It's just an opportunity to make things right.
Yes.
And so I decided to join up with another group, and they offered me the position of vice president.
For the Haitian Association.
For the Haitian
and
Association.
You took it.
And I took it.
That's nice.
And we contested the elections, and we had a landslide victory.
Great. Fabio, we are having here an interesting conversation, but unfortunately time is running on us. We're going to go for a small break, and we will be back in a few minutes.
Sure.
Dear people of Sint Maarten, welcome to the second half of your radio program, You Are Sint Maarten. As I said in the beginning, by the introduction, that the radio program, You Are Sint Maarten, is being broadcasted every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on Radio Mix 94.7. Today, as I have introduced already in the first half of our radio program, we have as invité with us Mr. Fabio Doralice. We had actually in the first half of our program an interesting conversation with Mr. Fabio Doralice, that is actually a citizen born in Sint Maarten but of Asian descent. In the first half, at the end of the first half of our radio program, I was talking with Fabio about his vice presidency of the Haitian Association. Mr. Fabio, explain us a little about some activities that is being entertained by the Haitian Association.
Thank you once again, Doc. The Haitian Association of Sint Maarten is an associative body elected by its populace to aid, support, represent, defend the social, cultural, professional, and educational interests, and highlight the ailments of Haitians and their descendants living on the island. What we did when we were elected in 2020 was immediately identify what were some of the ailments of the Haitian community and how we can best remedy it. And from that, we were elected in November 2022. And our first major event, which was on January 1st, 2021, and that fall on Haitian Independence Day. which is celebrated every 1st of January of every year. And one of the first thing we did was we gave out Haitian national soup, which is soup jumeau, and for free. Everyone came out. We just passed by the road, came, you grab your free bowl of soup jumeau. That's just to get people familiar with the Haitian culture. But when we took over, it was not about holding events, etc. It was more of getting the Haitian community more incorporated and integrated within the local culture. So to elevate them, get them up to our standards, because one of the ailments that's out there is the language barrier. That's one of the biggest challenges, especially for the first and second generation of Haitian migrants that came. The one that came in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, they still has not yet have a fair command of the English language. So you get the language barrier as a big issue here. After we identified that, we said, no, we gotta bridge the gap. So some of the things we put together was, firstly, a help desk where we invited all the Haitian. Once you're Haitian and you need help, you come to the help desk for free. We help you with whatever you need done. If you need translation, if you need representation, we even go as far as legal representation, where we align ourselves with some legal minds, just in case you have a judiciary issue that you need advice on. I remember we actually went to trial with one of our members, because we invite the community on a whole to become members of the Haitian Association. That way we can better represent you and better target you for specific stuff. Besides that, we're working on educational initiatives, because there are some of our migrants that unfortunately did not get to finish school, did not get to complete their studies, etc. And we're doing a literary course, etc. Just to help them out. Another thing that we did, which was really put us over the map, was we held the first immigration seminar, where we invited people from the immigration department and a few consultants as to how people can get their documents in order, how they can renew their documents, because we want to promote legal residency on the island also.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are doing a lot for the Asian community here in Sint Maarten. And you know what I appreciate, Fabio, what you told me just now is, it's not only of helping the Haitians as such in their community, but to accentuate the possibility for them to see the momentum and the opportunities to get a connection with the real community that they live in, that they do not stay in their own small core community, but that they integrate with Sint Maarten. That is my dream for my country, but actually it's partially realized already that we are such a multicultural community. It's for me so great to tell this to the outside world, how we live here with each other. And I do believe that also the way you explain me, that the Haitian Association is not only putting attention as such to the Haitians here in Sint Maarten, but try also to offer them opportunities and programs for them to associate and integrate with the general community of Sint Maarten. Because at the end of the day, we are one people, Fabio. We are one people, so we have to make it happen for all of us. You said something very important in the beginning, Fabio, that I really believe in, and that is that you said that unfortunately a few Haitians, or the Haitians here, not all of them could benefit from an education before they came to Sint Maarten, or even coming here, they were not in a position to make use of the facilities and opportunities for education. And Fabio, I believe, and we from the URSM also believe, that education must be a precondition and is a precondition to arrive at a well-educated labor place. That's one. I do believe also that education is the basis for economic growth. If we can also help, support, and educate the Haitian community, it's going to, as such, improve their economic growth in this community. That's the second one. And thirdly, Fabio, I do believe that education is the basis for good living conditions, for opportunities for everyone. I do believe that if you educate yourself, you create your own opportunities for a better life for tomorrow. And you don't do it for yourself, but automatically it's going to make it much more easy for the next generation, your kids. Once you have the basic great education, you can transfer it to the next generation. And as such, we're going to get a better educated community. Fabio, we are talking about an autonomous country, and I do believe a pillar of autonomy, if you want to make it a realistic, in practice, a great autonomous country, you have to work seriously, diligently on your education of your country, and not only focus on a small selected group of people. No, you will have to offer education to the whole populace of Sint Maarten. Fabio, I don't know if you know, but I can tell you that I did some studies to know where are we standing in our socio-economic status with our country. And 42% of our community, and you mustn't think it's only Haitians, I can tell you it's more than that. The problem is bigger than you think. You are concerned about your Haitian people, of course. That is normal that you think on them. But I can tell you that I do not only think on the Haitians, but I think on all the people represented here in our community. And realistically, statistically, it's at this particular moment 42% of the people living in this country do not have or did not finish secondary school education. 42%. So you have your challenges that you see as vice president of the Haitian Association about the education level in general that needs some more impulse in the Haitian community. I can tell you it's not only the Haitian community in general, in the populace of Sint Maarten. It's a big worry for me because I do want to improve this 42% of people that is now a reality of Sint Maarten, that 42% of our community does not have a secondary school education. Can you imagine that, Fabio? One of the two persons walking around in this country does not have a secondary school education. So I appreciate enormously that you guys from the Asian Association are paying great attention to education for the populace of the Haitians, and we from the URSM are doing what we have to do to present the people of Sint Maarten a great opportunity on educational level to educate themselves, for them to have a great development, because as I said, only with education you can make sure that you create opportunities and improve your livelihood.
Yeah, and that is one of the key focus of the Haitian Association, because one thing we realized with our foreparents were that yes, they probably were not able to finish their education or obtain an education back home, but once they moved here, they ensured that all their kids went to school. Yes. And that is one thing I must say I'm very, very proud of the Haitian community. They make sure that their kids are educated.
Yes.
And now is to bridge the gap, because in my opinion, there's two different kinds of Haitians living here. We have the first generation, the one that migrated in the 60s, the 40s, the 50s, etc. They came to earn an honest living, to create a better life for their family and their offspring. And out of that, you get the second generation of Haitians, the kids of those early settlers, or the grandkids of those early settlers. And now they were born here, grew up here, were educated here. Some left and came back, but when they came back, to me, they're facing a bit of cultural identity crisis of sort. What are they to be recognized as Haitian or as a Sint Maartener?
Yes.
I get that question a lot. Fabio, what are you? Are you an Haitian or you a Sint Maartener?
Yes.
I am a Sint Maartener of
Very
Haitian descent.
Very good, Fabio.
I am first and foremost a Sint Maartener of Haitian descent.
Yes,
and
fantastic.
one of the challenges we have right now is bridging the gap between the new and the old, passing on or finding the right balance between both cultures, because we, the younger generation of Haitians, we grew up here, so we know the Sint Maarten culture. But we also like and want to retain bits and aspects of the Haitian culture,
Which is normal.
which is normal.
Of course.
And I'm speaking of the Haitian culture right now, but I'm pretty sure it's across the board for any other ethnicity or of settlers here. They're experiencing the same thing. Another thing that we really trying to focus or emphasize on is the pooling of our resources, because what we realize is that the Haitian populace here on the island, first and foremost, they are prolific savers. But in terms of investing, they don't do much investing. They prefer to save every single thing they have. And for us to develop a modern society, a sustainable society, we feel that, hey, listen, you came, you settle, you earn a great living. Now let's invest in the country you're most probably gonna retire and die in, because most of the early settlers are not going back.
Yes.
Someone like me, someone like Ralph Cantav and the other Haitians.
Great examples.
We're not gonna go anywhere.
Yes.
St. Maarten is my home.
Yes.
I'm not gonna go to and migrate to Haiti. I might go visit, spend a month or two, but at the end of the day, St. Maarten is our home. So that's why we at the Haitian Association, we feel that it is imperative to get to pool our resources together and actually invest in Sint Maarten and help develop society, help develop our communities. Just now you mentioned that the URSM is concentrating on education on a whole, on a whole, and with that said, we realize that also, and that's why we created the Les Sommets Foundation.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about this Les Sommets Foundation, Fabio. In this case, you are the president of this foundation. Can you explain us a little what this Les Sommets Foundation is all about?
Les Sommets Foundation is a non-profit organization that focuses on the advancement of individual, professional, and social development of individuals within the society or within the community. And this is not Haitian based or Haitian geared or Haitian targeted, but we're targeting actually the entire island, because we feel as a unified community, we will grow. And if I'm succeeded, if I'm elevating and my neighbor is struggling, I should be able to give my neighbor a helping hand, which would ultimately benefit society on a whole. Yes. So we formed the Les Sommets Foundation, and actually it didn't even started as that. It started as an idea. One of the founding fathers, he was stuck in traffic for the Dominican Day flag parade, and while stuck in traffic, he's like, "Wow, the Dominicans are very, very much organized."
Yes.
And he said we should do something similar. And when we came, he invited me, he invited a few people, and he shared the idea. And we took it to a complete different level. We said, no, we cannot only limit it to the Haitians. We gotta expand it, and that's how Les Sommets was born. One of the events that we were very, very proud of was, and our first event was the Mother's Day 1,000 Rose giveaway. And what we did for Mother's Day last year, 2021, we bought 1,000 roses, and we went to Sister Basilia Center, the White and Yellow Cross, the hospital. We went actually all across the island, and we actually give each and every single mom a Mother's Day rose and a Mother's Day card. And
That's nice.
the feedback that we got, and there's a few moms, especially in St. Martin's, the Yellow Cross, etc. You saw tears coming from their eyes because they were not expecting it, and you just told me, hey, we love you. And that is one of our achievement, and amongst many others that we've been doing. We've been helping out with homeless people, people in dire situations. We've did community events. Unfortunately, we're not as documentive as we should be. Or there are certain good deeds that we believe you should not highlight as or advertise, to say, especially when we're dealing with real individuals. You want to protect their identity. It's not every time you help someone you have to crazy take a selfie and, hey, I helped you. No. So with modesty, we are achieving a lot.
Great. You're using actually the formula of my father, Fabio. My father used to say, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Yeah? And that is a good way to obey the desire of God. I always say, just to help the people in need in this country. I do believe that is also a reason that we have this political ambition, because I do think that we should help the others, the weaker ones, the ones that are encountering great challenges in the community. I do believe that they should be the drive for us to do what we have to do in this community. Fabio, I have one more question for you. You are the president of Le Sommet. You told me you're the vice president of the Haitian Association. You are from Haitian descendant. You know every ins and out of our community and also from the Haitian community. What would you like to see change on a short term that will benefit the Haitians here in Sint Maarten? Perhaps I'm catching you off guard with such a tough question. No. But seeing you and listening to you, I think, wow, this gentleman thought good about his position in life and where he wants to go as a person and what he wants for the Haitian community here in Sint Maarten. So, coming back is, what would you like to see as a change that is going to benefit enormously the Haitian community in Sint Maarten?
One of the things that's in the Haitian crest is Union fait la force, which means unity is a force. In units, there's power. And one of the challenges we had here for many years amongst the Haitian community was the division. The division amongst us. And when I say division, we were not pooling our resources because on both sides of the island, we were amongst the largest group of immigrants on both sides of the island, and that is something that's understated and underestimated. And I think if we are able to pool our resources together, we can do wonders. And in the short term, we actually started it. I remember just before the newly passed elections of the North, I called a meeting with all the Haitian leaders within the Haitian community on both that side and French side. For those that don't know, there were actually 4 Haitian candidates vying for a position on the northern side of elections a month ago or so, and we convened a meeting to rally the support of all Haitians and all Haitian leaders against behind their candidates. And surprisingly, almost every single one of them showed up.
Oh, that's nice.
And all of them pledged their support to Madame Martine Beldor, Mr. Cox, which is of Haitian descent, and there was 2 others. But the RSM party, they actually had 3 Haitian candidates on their party. Okay. So we rallied our support behind them, and you see the results.
Yes.
And Mr. Mussington himself, up to now, he constantly thank us. Yes. And that is one of the things that we want to continue doing. There are talks in the works already to do that same thing on the Dutch side, because we see how powerful it is when we unite and we throw all our weight behind one particular candidate or two particular candidates. And we're already talking about doing the same thing on the Dutch side.
Oh, okay.
So in the short term, that is one of the goals, to get all Haitian minds thinking alike.
It's about unification.
Unification.
Absolutely. Fabio, unfortunately, we are reaching at the end
Already?
of this interesting radio program. Before I close this program, Fabio, I will going to give you 1 minute, a few seconds, the floor as to finalize this program. The floor is yours for your last words for today.
Well, I want to say thank you, Doctor, for having me on, and thanks to URSM for choosing me as the Haitian representative to speak on behalf of the Haitians. It was a very, very interesting conversation, and I want to say a very big thank you to the Sint Maarten community for accepting us with open arms and allowing us to be able to settle, raise a family, and actually contribute to society. We see the offspring of the early settlers are in every single facet of this community. We have Haitian descendants in law enforcement, in education, in banking, in insurance. Every single facet you see an offspring of or product of a Haitian descendant, and that is very, very commendable. So the only area we don't have one yet on that side, and which I think pretty soon we might see at least one, is in politics.
Sounds promising, Fabio. We're going to work on that, Fabio.
We're gonna work on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the end of our radio program. I would like to thank you for your attention. I would like to thank Mr. Fabio Doralice for taking time off to be here in the radio program You Are Sint Maarten. Mr. Fabio, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our program. I'm looking forward to have you back in our radio program next week, Wednesday, from 6 to 7 p.m. on Radio Mix 94.7. Have a great evening.